Welcome back here with Brian Cox, the chairman and CEO of SurgePays. Brian, thank you as always for being with us. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Great to be back with you guys.
Always great to have you. Congrats on ringing the bell at NASDAQ's July 15th bell ringing ceremony. Must have been really exciting for you. How was that experience? Tell us about it.
Hey, I had heard about that, and that was always one of the goals we had put out there. It's kind of, like I said, when I spoke there, it was kind of a battle cry of when times got tough or we stay up all night working on filings for the SEC to get there. We got to ring that bell, got to ring that bell. So to be able to do it was a little bit surreal. The guys at NASDAQ were fantastic, and it was awesome for my team, who, especially the guys in operations who are grinding and just helping, support all this growth. And they're not on the forefront to see the public company side. So for them to be able to be out there in Times Square and have people looking in and look up and see themselves on Bloomberg and CNBC and all these things that, they normally just see on TV, I most got the gratification from my team members being able to be a part of what I see all the time. So it was fun. It was a blast.
Awesome, man. Great to hear. Let's dive in from there. SurgePays is striving to make broadband and telecom services more accessible to customers, in part, of course, by leveraging the Affordability Connectivity Program, which is part of the larger Infrastructure Act. Reading directly from the FCC.gov explainer on the program, the ACP provides eligible households with a discount on broadband service and connected devices. In 2021, the Infrastructure and Job Act became law, and the Infrastructure Act provides $14.2 billion to modify and extend the Emergency Broadband Benefit Program. It's going to a longer-term broadband affordability program, but can you tell us specifically how SurgePays in particular has benefited from this program and is able to use it to achieve your mission as a company?
Yeah, sure. No, and I appreciate the question. We invested millions of dollars into infrastructure, software platforms, our operations center, and everything was with the target of providing mobile broadband and wireless services to the same market, the underbanked, underserved, the prepaid market, if you will. So obviously no one could have expected COVID to come around, but we were the beneficiary of being at the right place at the right time, and we took full advantage of it. We already had the interconnectivity with carriers to be able to provide this service, which was why the FCC granted us our first license in 14 states to provide this service. And as most of you know, we acquired a company that gave us the other 36 states a couple of months ago. So from a perspective of taking advantage of it, when it was an emergency benefit, when it was, we expected it to be short term at first, so we weren't all in. And it was spurred by the fact that the government realized how many inner city and low income folks didn't have access to quality internet when their kids couldn't connect to teachers in the classroom. It only took about 4 months of the program for the government to realize how critical this was and what a success it was, actually just supporting private sector companies who specialize in delivering products to this, as opposed to the government trying to solve the problem. So we feel like it was a really good marriage of the government supporting companies like us to get these products out. And when they made it permanent, a permanent budget item in the infrastructure bill, that's when we went all in. That's when I had confidence that this would be around for a long, long time. And so we know that providing such an essential service, which now, look, your education, healthcare, and employment are all funneled through your ability to access email, and job applications. Everything is digital now. So it really helps close the divide between the lower income communities and the rest of the communities. And so we think that benefits society overall. And look, we surpassed 150,000 customers recently. We feel like that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're just now really getting traction across the board. So we're really, really excited about what we've built and what's right around the corner for us.
That's great. And I think according to that, I don't think a lot of people realize how large the addressable market really is. Can you give us some details there? And also, how sustainable is ACP? Is it a long-term solution as you're looking at this addressable market?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, in my mind, I'm always a year to a year and a half. I'm looking at things at the end of 2023. Where do we want to be? And let's reverse engineer to make sure we get there, if not get there, exceed those goals. So what we look at, obviously, is the sustainability. When ACP became a permanent budget item with the infrastructure bill and it became law, that really solidified and created that bridge to give us confidence about the sustainability of both parties, by the way, not just a political depending on a red tie or a blue tie. Once a social program like this that's very impactful and they can see reconciled what the program is doing to help people, it'd be very difficult to ever take that off the table, which is why we've seen Lifeline never be threatened for 35, 40 years of all different types of administration. So we do feel good about the sustainability of the program. The second part is the addressable market. The Miami Herald did an article quite a few months ago where they said almost 7 million folks in Florida qualified for the program. The White House has put out their estimates anywhere between 50 to 60 million qualify for the program. We take a step back and we look at the prepaid wireless customers out there, which is now in excess of 100 million. You've got your immigrant population, and knowing that people qualify for this subsidized mobile broadband, essentially if they're on any government service, I don't care whether they're elderly and they're on Medicaid or they're on a fixed income that puts their income below the poverty line, all the way down to your SNAP EBT, which is the rebranded food stamps, school lunches, and even WIC. I don't know if anyone could actually pinpoint how many tens of millions qualify, because it does it does include immigrants. So, we feel, again, even taking a low estimate of 50 million folks out there, we're at 150,000. The first 5 months of growth, we really only were in 3 or 4 states. We were not able to do online sales because, as you know, geofencing marketing online is very expensive trying to do different states. Now that we can broadcast nationwide, it's really brought down the cost of acquisition to a feasible point where now we're doing, I think I saw over 300 a day just online, which is awesome because it doesn't matter what the weather is or what part of the country you're in. Those sales keep cranking. So we feel like, as far as our growth goes, the number that we're at now, I think that next 150,000 will hit in half the time that it took us to get the first 150,000.
Got it. Okay, now SurgePays recently acquired Torch Wireless, expanding their approval to offer ACP from 14 states to a nationwide coverage. How is that going in terms of integrating Torch and expanding your sales efforts so far?
It's been a huge boost for us. We picked up a lot of key states that we're now able to offer service in. If logistically, we had 14 states spread out. So you think you're putting a tablet device in people's hands. Well, you're shipping pallets of tablets all over the place. So it created more of an efficiency model for us now, where we've got distribution points where those can be sent, more regionally, and we're all connected. Now, any state that has an opening, we can send out folks to, for example, New Mexico, been a great state for us. Wisconsin, great state for us. All of these new states that are prime areas with little or no competition whatsoever, our guys go out and set up a tent in these convenience store parking lots, and they've got a line wrapped around the block. It's pretty amazing, and they enroll customers till they run out, and then they go back to the closest distribution point and reload. The Torch acquisition, great for us. We were able to take some of the software pieces that came with Torch, some of the branding that came with Torch, and really push that out to the market. So, and we were able to acquire it without, diluting shareholders. So, we've been really strategic in the way that we've grown. We've been really strategic in the ways that we're accessing capital, which I think is one of the reasons why you see us as one of the top 2 or 3 performing companies on NASDAQ this year.
Got it. Okay, any obstacles or challenges to growing this program so far? Anything that stood in the way of progress up to this point?
No, just hours in the day, because we're seeing a direct impact on every minute that we spend, every device that we put out. We have nothing in our warehouses collecting dust. So the grind and the challenge for us really isn't anything from the program. You've got the United States backing it. That receivable is good, and that comes even if the government's shut down. Again, we've been involved in subsidized telecom now for over 15 years. So we understand the flow, we understand the compliance of it. Really, I'm not going to say a challenge. It's more of a insatiable greed for more, is accessing capital strategically to get more devices. That's in growing. I call it red line growth. I'm not willing to sell stock or do anything like that to raise capital where we are right now. I feel like we're undervalued, even though we've had a great year on the market. So we're using now the receivable, which, when we file our monthly filings for how many subscribers we have, it also includes the reimbursements for the tablet devices. So there's about a 45-day float there. Well, during that float, we have a receivable from the FCC, USAC, which is the administrator of the program. During that period of time, we have what now like an $8 to $9 million receivable. So we're using that to access capital. So to make sure that we don't just kind of plateau, that we can continue to stair step, and really it's turned into a Nike swish on our growth. of not only consumers, subscribers, but also sales.
Okay, understood. So guidance provided by the company, it states that SurgePays was aiming for 200,000 enrollments by the end of this year. SurgePays reported ACP having around 150,000 enrollments currently. Do you foresee revising that guidance by the end of 2022? If you expect to exceed the regional guidance, what is SurgePays doing to achieve these enrollments? What's giving you such success thus far?
When we gave the original guidance, we didn't own Torch, so I had 14 states. I also was not positive how we would access capital. We've got term sheets coming out our ears, obviously, with the stock doing well and our sales increasing. So again, with me being the largest shareholder of the company, I'm taking that into account on all of our capital decisions. So we did the guidance and we put that out there with the information we had at hand at the time. Obviously now with 50 states, obviously now with online sales, with access to capital to be able to grow bigger, faster, stronger, we definitely feel like that number of 200,000 would be on the low side now. So I do expect to give upward guidance, or let me say that revised guidance here soon, because again, we've got 6 to 7 months behind us. We're putting the guidance out the best we can with the tools we have in front of us. But absolutely, if you ask me now, we had 0 customers in August. We've got over 150,000 now, 150,000 households that we provide this internet to. We started at 0. We basically started in West Tennessee and North Mississippi, built our software platforms, did our integrations, built all of our mechanisms for paying for commissions, support, all the things at the operations center, customer service. All of that's done now. It's all scalable. Now it's just like a knob on an equalizer. You just push it up. Everything is built. So to your point, I mean, if we're doing 300 a day at online alone, and if we're growing the sales in the field, yeah, simple math tells you that we should far exceed the 200,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Now, how that impacts some of the other guidance we gave, that's what we'll work with our CFO on. It is a front-loaded expense. So again, it's not your normal, 2 steps forward, 1 step back type growth. I mean, it's literally growth. And when you get into GAAP rules and accounting rules and all the fun things like that, those can change based on how fast you're growing. But I think the important thing for potential shareholders to know, or shareholders to know, is that we're cash flowing right now. We don't have to raise capital to grow. We're reinvesting in our growth because I have a personal target of 500,000 subscribers by the end of next year. So that's my personal scalability growth model that I want to hit as my goal. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at Q3, Q4 of this year. I'm looking at how do I get to these numbers by the end of next year, because I know where that should give us, where we should be as a market cap once we hit these numbers, where that revenue will be, and once we're had 4 to 5 quarters on NASDAQ, and we're being evaluated amongst our peers in the telecom market.
Absolutely. Brian, to close us out too, you've stated in the past that each enrollment is actually a household with 3 to 5 potential prepaid smartphone contracts, and that you felt SurgePays had a competitive advantage there because you offer a $30 data plan. Tell us about your future plans and any potential new product offerings that SurgePays is going to offer.
We see this as a land rush and a gold rush, and I am a little bit of I do appreciate history a little bit more, ironically, after I'm out of school, when I could have gotten grades for appreciating it. So as we're looking at this, and we're seeing the landscape and the hustle to add subscribers, we did a survey. We implemented a survey into the sales process, and we did determine that each one of these is a household that has 3 to 5 prepaid devices. We offer prepaid services. We definitely have a competitive advantage in the fact that we're already communicating with the customer. There's already a trust there, and then that store owner, to be able to upsell them, it should be a fantastic family plan upsell opportunity for us. And we have their information. We know who they are and where they live, so we can market them using that trust information that they've already shared with us. So I think that's one thing. The other thing is, going back on history a little bit, and let's just stick with the gold rush, the folks that sold blue jeans and pickaxes sustained their ability to continue to make money. So not only are we going to be growing our subscribers, we've done other things. We've developing software where we actually now have even competitors. I guess you call it a software as a service. We're going to be making money off of other people's subscribers month over month without dealing with the overhead. of customer service and relating directly to customers, but that software as a service will be used. And that's just cash flow that'll be hitting our really top and bottom line. So by us building out our own platforms or acquiring the platforms we need to own the full circle of life for these customers, you're able to do so at an economies of scale where you can offer your platform to other people where they can access it, and actually you can make money off of your competitors because it's so wide open. We're not cannibalizing each other. And I don't think in the ACP world we're going to start trying to cherry pick each other's customers for another 2.5 to 3 years. So right now it made a heck of a lot of sense for us to go out there and offer services to other folks in the business that would allow them to enroll customers and make money off of them. Again, selling blue jeans and pickaxes during the gold rush as well as digging for gold ourselves.
Outstanding. Makes a lot of sense. Brian Cox, Chairman and CEO of SurgePays. Always good to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining.
Hey, I enjoyed it. Y'all have a great day.